Define your spiritual connection. Customize your connection. Customize your connection to your higher power using whatever practice works for you. This is our topic for today. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 219 of our Supersize You annual challenge. Today we're talking about, and all this month, we're focusing on one of the 9 life framework areas, and that is spirituality, spiritual aspects and components of our life. We are multifaceted beings, and as such, we need to take into consideration all of the parts of us in order to lead us happy, successful, defined by us life. So today, our topic is making sure that we have our own customized spiritual practice, something that we do every day that feeds our soul. It makes our spirit feel better, makes us feel glad to be alive and interact and have better communication, better relationships, better results in every area and aspect of our life. Now, your spiritual practice needs to be something that feels right to you, not some obligation. When I was growing up, I grew up Catholic, and we had an obligation to go to CCD, which is Christian education, every Wednesday, go to church every Sunday, usually do something on Saturday to make the community a better place or to make the church community a better place. And a lot of times, as a kid, you don't want to do those things, right? It feels like an obligation. Yet, I learned a lot from those. Nowadays, I consider myself spiritual, not religious, and that's for personal reasons. We all get to decide how we are going to think and what we're going to believe and how we're going to be connected to something outside of us. I suspect a lot of people don't have a very strong connection to their spirituality, the spiritual side, the soul side of themselves, and that they definitely don't have their own practice or practices, things that they do to stay connected to themselves. I think that's why we see all the craziness going on in the world, is people just have lost sight of the fact that we are all connected, and everything we do to harm anybody or anything harms the whole. Anyway, that's my beliefs. So what are some different components that we could have in our spiritual practice? Because our action item today is going to be to identify, define what it is for you. What are you committing to yourself to do to stay connected to your higher power, to stay connected to your soul, your big self? I call it little me and big me, right? Little me here on Earth planet, living in my physical being, needs to be connected to the bigger version of me, which is all of our thoughts, all of our energy, everything that we put into the world that we live in. So things that we could include in our spiritual practice are things like meditation, silent meditation. I'm trying to practice that. I'm not very good at it, but I'll get better. Practicing anything helps us to get better at something. Prayer, if you believe in prayer, you pray. Nature, spending time in nature. Gratitude, being involved with a community. It can be, a spiritual community, or it can be a religious organization type community, whatever works and feels right and aligned to you. Again, feels good to you. Doesn't feel like, oh, I'm obligated to do this. I'm obligated to show up. I personally think as parents, we are obligated to take care of our children and make sure they are safe and raised in a kind way to create more good humans. But I never felt obligated to that. There's a difference between personal responsibility, and obligation. At least they feel different to me. Journaling is a way. Reading, studying, hypnosis is one of my favorites. Movement, getting out in nature and just walking or just moving your body in place. Anything. There's so many different ways we can connect to ourself and to a higher power, something outside of us that's bigger than we are, because that's how I like to describe it. I can intend, are you doing something already? I guess that's my first question. Do you have some sort of spiritual practice? I actually use all of those things and a few others. I like art, I like music, which I've gotten really away from music. I don't know what severed my relationship with music, because when I was a kid, I had literally thousands of albums. We had albums back in my day, right? Vinyl records, big vinyl records. But then it went to, cassette tapes. I had literally hundreds, if not 1,000 cassette tapes. I loved music, and somehow I got away from it. And I'm going to go back to enjoying more music because I think it keeps me a little more level. instead of all over the place. But start small. If you're not doing anything, okay, I just gave you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different ways that you could get more connected to your higher self and be more spiritual. You know, you could attend mass or church or things like that. You go to services. You could join communities in your community that have similar beliefs to you, etc. So our assignment today, our homework, our play work, whatever you call it, I like to think of them as play. I like to do a little something every day to make my life better, is to design your own practice, design your own way of connecting to your higher self, however you define that. And I would love it if you would commit to doing it for 30 days. I want you to do it for 30 days and see how it makes you feel, because chances are, if you're like me, it'll make you feel so much better, so much more level, so much more in control of your different areas and aspects of your life, not just your spiritual component, but I find it helps my emotions. It helps my thinking and decision making. It helps me to step back from situations that I'm so close to I can't see. And if I just take a step back and look at them from a different point of view, the 30,000-foot view or whatever, it gives me a whole different set of options in how to deal with that situation. So commit to, I'd say let's start, if you haven't done anything before, start with like 10 minutes a day. All of us, I don't care who you are, I don't care how busy you are. I used to be one of the busiest people I know. I could still find 10 minutes in the day to do things that were a priority and important to me. And what's more important than you setting yourself up for success? So 10 minutes today, and for the next 30 days, I think everybody can do 10 minutes for 30 days. Doing one of these things, meditation, prayer, connecting to your higher power, reading, just get your favorite ancient wisdom, like we talked about, book or spiritual book, and read it for 10 minutes a day. One of the best habits my parents ingrained in my sisters and I is the love of reading. We used to all read before we went to bed. It was a great wind down activity, and it started when we were little kids. We would read books before we went to bed, and it made us get a better night's sleep, unless we read scary books and had bad dreams, which happens sometimes too. All right, any questions about this? Reach out and ask. Otherwise, have an awesome day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.